So, hi, I'm Rokk. Running a little bit late, sorry. Some technical stuff. The machine went down. We're back up again. Welcome to Rokk Around the Clock. Big shout out to Cloud Gaming X and Generation Stadia for handing over before me. As you all know, if you've seen the show before, it's famous for gaffes and things going wrong, so I'm just trying to live up to my reputation. This show is on every other day with news, views, and reviews for all things Stadia and cloud gaming. Subscribers will be familiar with a feature that I introduced a couple of weeks ago called Stars of Stadia, which highlighted some of the brightest content creators in the community. For today's show, I wanted to shine that spotlight on some guys who I think are on the rise and will be big names in the not too distant future. So my rising stars of Stadia, if you will, are, and I'll just pull up my agenda. Here we go. They are indeed. Here we go. Not trusting the technology, folks. I'm not having it. Duncan from One to Escape, Eddie from Big Eddie Bear, Lee from Stadia Mania, Martin from Happy Cloud Gamer, and Nick from Nathan Tech Gaming. So the format today will be a short one-on-one with each of these guys so that they can say hi, and then we're hopefully going to have some time together at the end, tech allowing, for a roundtable and general chat. So without further ado, if I can get this all to work, let me introduce you to my first guest. Now I press this button, hopefully move that out the way because you don't want to see that. There we go. That, ladies and gentlemen, is of course Duncan. Duncan, hi. Thank you very much for coming on to my show.
Oh, thank you for having me and inviting me on. I'm just here to make up the numbers, so I am just
humble as ever. Humble as ever. So I just wanted to cover a couple of things off with you, really. So obviously, most people know you from the amazing work that you do with Stadia Source, as well as guest appearing across the internet. You're almost as much as I am these days. But also, you produce some really good content, and I know if anybody turned in or tuned in first thing this morning and they saw you with your partner Kelly, we had a little taster for what that comprises. So perhaps you could just tell us a little bit more about yourself, so we don't all know as much about you as we should do.
Yeah, I can see some people did watch it because everybody seems to want Kelly. Kelly's in the background looking very smug at this moment in time and trying not to laugh. So I write for Stadia Source, and I also make some videos with she who shall not be named behind us here on occasion. Yeah, all I'm saying is Team Kelly, Team Kelly, Team Kelly.
Team Kelly's the best.
And there she is.
Yeah, there she is in the background there. But yeah, I'm just here. I don't really do that much for people, but all I can see is Team Kelly. Like, come on.
We've got a new star in the community. I was hoping to have the pair of you on, but she's building up to that great reveal that'll come in a few weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah, she was very close to coming on tonight, weren't you?
Yeah.
But some things were playing, just conspired against her actually coming on live here tonight.
Oh, so not a problem at all.
But unfortunately, you're stuck with me, the boring one.
So what was your gaming life like, BS, before Stadia?
Before Stadia, my first gaming system was a Commodore 64, first game is Action Biker on it. There you go. So I've been gaming a long time. I've had basically every single sort of console you can think of. I've worked the whole way up from Commodore 64, NES, SNES, Master System, Genesis. I'm talking American here. Give me a slap. Mega Drive.
All good friends.
All friends, yes. Mega Drive. Just everything, basically, I could play. I've been playing the whole time.
You, obviously, as I've said at the outset, Duncan, you're mostly known, certainly I think mostly known for the work that you do with Dan and the other guys. But how did Stadia Source come about? How did your collaboration with the Stadia Source team come about?
Basically, I was writing for I set my own website up, and I was just finding it too difficult to do everything myself. So I approached Dan to see if I could jump on board, and Dan was unlucky enough to say yes. So I have.
I think Tommy was more unlucky, wasn't he? He gets a dog's life from you.
Yeah, but he deserves it.
Oh, fair point.
It is a fair point. And if you don't know, you do not want to subscribe to Stadia Arcadia, because if he hits 300, he's going to be doing Just Dance in his swimming shorts. So do not subscribe to Stadia Arcadia, because no one wants to see that.
Bless him. Duncan, thank you ever so much for coming on today. We're going to meet you all again at the end for our chat. So thank you very much. I'm going to now switch over to my next guest, if I can just press all the right buttons. Here we go. Who is Eddie. And I'll just get your video up. It was that one in the first place, wasn't it? Hey, Eddie, how are you? You have to excuse me.
How are you doing today?
I'm an absolute novice at this. I should be the one sitting on all this in front of taking all these questions. I'm great, and thank you ever so much for coming on today. Now, I have been watching a few of your videos, and I think it's fair to say you're probably the closest thing to a gaming professional I know. Certainly, you're involved in Apex tournaments and do a lot around that kind of stuff, and of course now Stadia. So, thank you for coming on Rokk Around the Clock. Do you want to just give us a little bit more of a background about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Eddie. I've been gaming for roughly about 20 years, I'd say. Streaming for about 3 years. I kind of had to slow down with it just because of my schooling. So I'm actually going to be graduating in about 3 weeks with my bachelor's in electrical engineering.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, and then,
good on you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and then after that, I'm gonna start really focusing on streaming and just seeing what I can make of it. But overall, like I'm really in first-person shooters. I love the shooter looters, and Stadia's just kind of been brought to me by a couple of my friends. I'm sure everybody knows them, Link and Ashes, and it's kind of a direction I want to be in.
Fantastic, and obviously right now, I think it's fair to say there aren't too many hardcore multiplayer games on Stadia. Have you got sort of a wish list of what you'd like to see coming up?
Oh, honestly, just any PvP game. I'm hoping that they announce something like, I know that's been rumored with Rainbow Six coming. I would honestly love if they brought something like Apex Legends. So anything that they can bring that would be PvP would be so incredible, and I'm really hoping that they do that.
No, that's amazing, and I know that, and you've alluded to it already, that obviously Stadia is now becoming quite a mainstay of your kind of gaming content. So, have you got anything you wanted to say about? I know you've kind of got an announcement about what you're going to do with your channel.
Yeah, absolutely. In general, I love the direction that Stadia is going in, and just overall, the community is so amazing. I've met a lot of people, a lot of new players, so it's definitely something that I want to become part of. So moving forward, I'm actually going to be dedicating all my Mondays to Stadia, and I'm sure after Tuesday, hopefully they announce some new games, then I'm definitely going to be investing more time in it.
Amazing. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing some of your future PvP content, because I was watching it thinking, how the hell did he just do that? Eddie, thank you very much, and look forward to having you in the chat in a short while. Thank you. All right, let's press a few more buttons here with button center. Here we go. So I'll just switch on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'll recognize the very attractive face of my next guest, who is indeed Lee, otherwise known as Stadia Mania. How are you, Lee?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, okay? I'm struggling, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think handling the tech would be this hard, and speaking as well. It wouldn't have been so bad if I was maybe 60, but at my age, it's actually quite evil. So you're definitely a rising star of Stadia. I think
thank you, mate.
fair to say.
You keep saying I'll give you that money later, mate.
You've been saying that for weeks.
Knock me down, though. I'm still waiting, though. I'm still waiting.
Well, I don't expect the money. Let's be frank. So between the pair of us. So could you give us a bit of a background on yourself?
Wow, yeah, gaming wise, mate, I've been gaming since God, you're talking over 30 years. I'm now 39. Show my age, the grey hair's kind of kicking in, Adam.
Yeah, it's
But
fair.
like Duncan alluded to, I've played literally most iterations of certain consoles. The only two I never had was the NES and the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis. So don't hate me for that. But I've had like all the PlayStations, Xboxes. I'm just a lover of games in general. To be honest, kind of like the way Stadia's kind of progressing, and I think within the next 1, 2, 3 years, it's going to be very interesting to see where this platform is going to go. And I'm very excited for the future for it, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's fair, as I said, in truth, you and I become good friends
Yeah,
in
definitely.
a fairly short space of time. Because I've only been doing content forever on for Stadia anyway for 8 weeks, 9 weeks now, and so literally you and I have become really great friends. And I think it's a reflection, as Eddie was alluding to just now, of how tight-knit the community is, how supportive the community is. And I think one of the things that's impressed me about you is how much you genuinely care about not just your content, but your audience.
Absolutely.
I know you're in your own stream later today.
Yes.
As is.
I like 11 p.m. in UK time. Football Manager.
I was going to say, do you want to tell us what you've been working on and what people can expect from you moving forward?
Yeah, so I'm looking to maybe delve more into the live streaming side of it, Adam. It's something I've kind of been thinking of a little while. Obviously, trying to get my green screen set up for later. My Football Manager streams at 11 p.m. UK time. I'm on for 30 minutes. Doing an Arsenal career. Just going to do hopefully 2 or 3 games. Don't hate me, all the Arsenal haters out there. Just because I know their squad. That's kind of why I chose them. Yeah, looking to do maybe more live streams, maybe beginners guides. Yeah, I think that's kind of the avenue I'm looking to go down, and just try and get a certain rapport with my audience and other creators in the community, and that's exactly the avenue I'm looking to go down. So it's exciting times.
So are you thinking that sports are maybe the thing for you moving forward?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Football Manager I've played on and off for many years. You're talking, I'm going back to the days when it used to be called Championship Manager. A few of the older heads will probably know that. I think that's maybe where I'm looking to go down. If you're into football or soccer, that is. But I think I'm maybe going to do that as well, and maybe a bit of Red Dead Redemption and other games, and just see how the live streaming goes. I enjoy it. I enjoy the good and the bad of live streaming as well, the ups and downs of it, and also the instant interaction with the community. I really enjoy that. It's good fun.
Well, mate, listen, I'm really pleased to have you on tonight.
Thanks so much. It's an honour to be here. Thank you, mate.
Definitely fit the rising star.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll catch up with you again with the other guys in a short while. So moving on to my next guest, who, ladies and gentlemen, you'll probably know Martin as Happy Cloud Gamer on YouTube. Now, the thing about Martin is he's a massive inspiration to me, because not just because he is a genuinely lovely guy and makes content that lives up to his channel name, but because he's the only non-English speaker among us and probably speaks better English than I do. So, Martin, willkommen till Rokk Around the Clock. How does that work?
That's great. That's great.
Is that good? I mean, I'm okay if I'm reading it. So
That was really perfect.
Thank you. Well, I've never been to Norway, but it's totally on my bucket list, and it's like
it's
over the sea from where I am in England. So let me.
Where I live, the last Mission Impossible fights on the planes, on the helicopter scenes.
Yeah.
They were that was actually in my city.
Wow.
That is, it was supposed to be in India, but it's filmed here in Norway.
So we need to film a scene in India. Let's go to Norway.
Exactly.
We've got to be talking tax breaks, right? I mean, that and great fish. I can't think of it. How else is that going to work?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what compelled you to take up content creation in the first place? Because you've not been doing it that long, have you?
No, I've never been on YouTube because I have not. I want to have the passion to do something on YouTube, and this is the first time I found something that really compelled to me. It's the streaming and cloud streaming, and that I find really interesting. It was like sitting and watching Google Stadia present, and I was like, wow, this is something I really enjoy. And I think I want to try to do some content around it. But I was really scared to push them on the mic and start speaking English, but I'm trying.
No,
because I don't want to be
exceptionally well.
talking only to Norwegian people, because then I would have 3 people in there.
And what's the Stadia scene like? I mean, in Nordic countries completely.
I have to be honest, I'm not that sure about that, because here in these countries, people have a lot of money, and I think there are many people that just buy the biggest rig on PC if they can't. And right now, I have to be honest, but we have the good infrastructure for the internet infrastructure. So I think we will see more people going into the cloud scene soon.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, look,
Yeah.
thank you ever so much for taking the time out and coming on tonight. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you as well, because I've been looking forward to meeting you. And
Thank you.
No, absolute pleasure. So we'll all gather again shortly, and
Yeah.
and then I've got a few questions. So thank you very much, Martin.
Thank you guys.
Not a problem at all. And then finally, but by no means least, is Nick. Hi, Nick. Thanks for hanging on and being the last one out of the gate, so to speak.
Nothing wrong with being last.
How are you?
Doing good. Excited.
No, that's great. Thank you. I've been watching a lot of your content, and I particularly love the kind of how-tos that you do in the general tech feel. And I think I'm right in saying that you run a business with your brother. And I can see how a lot of your content helps with that. But what brought you to covering Stadia? Because up until now, it's largely been the more physical sort of breakdowns and tech podcasts, isn't it?
Yeah, I started out with the tech stuff, just doing reviews, things like that. But I was actually part of the original, the Google Stream, the project Stream, sorry,
Oh, okay.
when they brought it out. So I tested that out. And then since they've announced it, I've just been on the edge of my seat, just more and more and more and more, wanting them to bring it out and play it and experience it and all that kind of stuff. And so I just kind of dove into it that way, and have been adding that to my, my content of doing the tech stuff. I recently actually split my channel because I had so much of the tech stuff and the 3D printing stuff that I do. And I decided to split it so I could focus one channel on gaming and one channel on more of the tech stuff and the other things that I do. So it wasn't just this big conglomeration of stuff going on my channel. People could focus a little bit more.
And that's brilliant. And I know, again, we've got one of your videos, obviously, down in the window there, and you go into a huge amount of detail. I mean, that's just your show notes as you're working down through there. So you're obviously bringing your tech experience, and that gives you a really good perspective. Do you feel that Stadia is a fad or the future?
Well, I'm obviously hoping that it's the future.
Yes.
I've pretty much moved. I've always been a PC gamer for the most part. I've had a couple consoles throughout the years, and my biggest limitation with PC is I can't take it with me. I can't take my $2,000 gaming rig with me, or I can't afford a $2,500 laptop that can go with me everywhere I want to go and play. And that was my biggest selling point with Stadia, is that it's portable.
Yes.
I can have all the games that I have on my PC, or hopefully, down the road as the library grows, but I can take them with me. I don't have to have multiple devices, all of them with their own library and all of them with their own accessories and things like that I have to worry about.
No, it's perfect for that, of course. The the kind of frictionless gaming aspect that Google are really fond of discussing. So, I mean, with your business and the videos that you do with your brother, I'm guessing that family is a really important aspect of your life. Do you feel that gaming and Stadia in general is a great option for families in, say, I don't know, the way the Wii is, or do you feel it's still very much in the console PC camp of more traditional gaming?
I've actually picked up most of the party games for Stadia. I have 3 daughters and a wife, and we actually sit down and try to play, the Spitlings and the motorcycle. I can draw on the blank on it right now.
MotoGP's just launched, of course. And then
it was the first one. I think the first one that we had. I'm completely drawing a blank on.
Oh, the one that has the crazy physics from Ubisoft. Yeah. I've forgotten what it's called as well, but something Rising.
Yeah. So, Trials Rising.
That's it.
So, I picked that up. We've played that a lot. I actually have 3 controllers, looking at picking up a 4th so that all of us can play.
Perfect.
So anyway, yeah, I've kind of pulled a lot of the family into it as well. I play a lot with my brother. I'll be playing later with him, doing some Borderlands 3 on my stream later tonight.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm trying to get more of my family and friends into Stadia because it's so easy and so simple.
And that's a really good point, Nick, just so that I don't forget. You actually have your own slot later as well tonight, don't you?
Yes.
Or I say tonight, it's probably late afternoon, early evening for you.
It's actually my time, I start at 10 p.m. East Coast time. It's midnight. So yeah, it's definitely a late night one.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely be tuning in for that. If not, I'll be recording. I'll get my VHS tape out and I'll be recording it. Don't you worry. Nick, thank you ever so much for taking the time to come along. And we're going to shuffle on now anyway, so you're not going to go very far. So, yeah, the next part of the show, if you like, for at least the next half an hour, is going to be my Rising Stars chat. So there they all are. Beautiful that they indeed all are. So, gentlemen, thank you very much again for. Oh look, we've even got Kelly sneaking in. How perfect is that?
Hello.
A little surprise guest. Hi, Kelly. I would have put your name next to Duncan's if I'd have known that you were going to be.
Don't.
You probably don't want it there, do you? That's fair.
No.
No, you don't want to
Please
be.
don't.
Yeah, you don't want to be associated with him. That makes absolute sense. So, everybody, gentleman and lady, once again,
Really?
It's actually not about you.
we're off. Welcome back, everybody. My first question. Stop poking him. My first question is. Everybody's been talking about it as we're obviously going to be talking about the Stadia Connect here. Everyone today's been talking about it. The last one, as you all know, was last August, so quite some time ago. It's obviously going to be big news. We don't have a huge amount of information, but I'm keen to get your perspectives, particularly as some of you are quite new to Stadia and others have been around since the outset. So, you're all going to have different perspectives. So, in terms of the Connect, I'm assuming we all know what that is. If I could start with you, Eddie, what are your thoughts for this coming Tuesday?
I'm actually really excited for it. I think right now is the perfect time for them to really be pushing Stadia on a lot of people, just because everybody's at home right now. So honestly, what I'm really hoping to see is just some type of like AAA title that they release. Not a lot of people know about Stadia, and if you push something like that, especially right now, it's going to get the attention of a lot of people. So I don't know if it's going to be something like Rainbow Six Siege or if even like bringing in Fortnite, but I think it's the perfect time to do it. So I'm hoping that they do it. Just as a competitive player, I'm hoping that they do it. But I want to see this community come alive. So that's hopefully what happens.
Martin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting to see what's going to happen. I would like to see more features that they promised before. I hope there are going to be like 20 new games coming soon. Mm-hmm. That's something I find really interesting. It doesn't have to be all AAA, but some AAA I really hope will come. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know the only thing that we have, of course, from the tweet that we got in the week is that there will be, I think it said something like, and a few new games. So we at least know new games, and we at least know that it's more than one. So who knows? It may be 20. I mean, I think it might be pushing the boat a bit there. But
I always hope.
But you are the happy cloud gamer.
Yeah, so I'm always happy.
Have to be optimistic, right?
Yeah.
Nick, what are your thoughts?
Well, my hopes are, we get a couple good game announcements. Things that either we weren't expecting or things that we're hoping. Stuff that's going to be good for Stadia in general. Things like, I would hope for something like Call of Duty, something like that. That's a big, already kind of has a mass following that we can hopefully move some people over to Stadia. I'm hoping for the family sharing. Just like I got all three of my kids are on Stadia, so if they want to play a game, I either have to purchase it again for them, or or they don't play it until the family sharing comes out. So that's one thing I'm hoping for. Possibly also, with five of us having Stadia accounts to keep Pro going, that's $50 a month for me if I keep everybody on it. So I'm kind of hoping for something that goes along with a family, a family account or a family group.
No,
words
I think
are hard today.
It's a good shout. I think for me, one of the concerns that I've had is that it looks as if with the family sharing account that you won't be able to play the same games at the same time, which of course, if you're a family, is what you kind of want to do, isn't it? You mentioned earlier about playing Spitlings. If you can't all play at the same time, it kind of defeats the object. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they do something about that, because I think that would be a shame. But certainly my understanding so far is that it will be based on the fact that you have to play individual games as long as they're within the account that you've purchased. But no,
right. Yeah, and the party games, most of the party games are okay because you can have 3 controllers or 4 controllers on one device, the Chromecast, and we can play all together on one screen. I think it's when you get to the multiple screens where if 2 of us are trying to play Division 2 or Borderlands 3, that's where you run into the issue. But if they want to play on their own, it gives them the opportunity to play on their own without me having to purchase the game a second time. And then also, like I said, a monthly where we have kind of a group, just like with the Google Play Music, where you pay a monthly fee and you have your whole family for $15 a month. All 6 of us that are on our family account can have that together instead of paying for 5 or 6 separate fees each month.
And I think it's a massive shout, and I'm sure everybody in the chat feels the same way. And of course, if as I believe is the case, that Google need to or looking to control the low end of the potential gamer market, then the cost of having an account for every member of your family is prohibitive, so it defeats the object. So I think that's a good shout, and I think everybody's hoping for that. Team Kelly plus Duncan, what are your thoughts?
Okay, do you want me to go first?
I don't mind.
Okay.
You're a wee princess.
Yeah, you're a wee deck.
So I apparently I have to go first. So
well, you are the princess. Come on.
Okay. So since I'm the princess, I will go first. And my feelings are it's going to be a low-key one. We're going to get a couple of new titles. The reason why I more think about it, I definitely do think it's going to be lower key, because we're going to hold back the games for the E3 announcements, because you wouldn't Ubisoft's not going to announce a new Assassin's Creed at Stadia, because I don't think Stadia is at that level as yet. So the big publishers are going to hold it off for another couple of months. What do you think before I get slapped about here?
I think before you get slapped all the time.
Yeah.
No, I just want shooting games just so that I can call Duncan a wee dick all the time, because I like doing that.
See, now that's profound. That's what I like. It's a profound thought, as opposed to profanity, which was I was not expecting at 10:30 this morning. I have to say, and I'm sending a stiff letter to the chairman of Stadia Source, because I think that's just unacceptable, I'm afraid. But it was fun, and it did make me laugh. And there was Weetabix all over the screen.
You should watch them. We'll play Mario.
Yeah. But she wants some more platformy games and co-op games, more party games. You can speak out.
Are you allowing me to speak now?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah, but
no, I would like more shooting games.
No,
not platform games, Duncan. You don't know what you're talking about. Let's see.
But you said you wanted Mario type games.
But I can play Mario on Nintendo, and I don't like playing Nintendo because it takes forever to load up.
Come on, man. You should know your wife by now.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for that, Duncan. That was a very astute observation. So we'll now swiftly move on to Lee.
Yeah, I would. I think maybe free-to-play games like Apex, Fortnite, something like that. Even though I'm not a massive Fortnite fan, PUBG I would personally love. I really enjoy PUBG.
PUBG would be good.
Yeah, PUBG would be awesome, especially for guys that are quite competitive, like Eddie. obviously, like I've not watched the
Yeah,
videos yet, but I
absolutely.
think very good at the FPSs. Yeah, I think that'd be quite good as well. Even something that I don't think they'll do at this Connect, but even like a daily subscription be quite something, because then again you're in that ecosystem, you've bought in for a year, steady monthly, because then people might go in and out of it and think, oh, do you know what, I'm not going to get back into it. So I think that may be something they might look to do. Maybe a big, well, EA have been quite quiet. I'm not saying they'll announce something, but hopefully within the next maybe 2-3 months, like maybe a Madden or FIFA, or like even like a big Call of Duty game, something that's going to really bring people in and have a day-to-day release. I think that's going to.
I think it's
People
about
are
time,
gonna be
isn't it? Sorry,
absolutely,
Lee.
yeah. No, I think so. Obviously, sprinkling a few indie games as they tend to do anyway, but one or two massive hitters, I think that would really make people stand up and take Google a bit more seriously at the moment.
Eddie, what would your thoughts be if they announced, I don't know, a Rainbow Six or an Apex, but they would be locked behind the Pro subscription because they're multi-bandwidth chompers?
I mean, I honestly think that it would still succeed. When I think of them bringing something like if EA comes in with like a Madden, I can kind of see them coming with like the EA Access that they have on the Xbox, where it kind of just allows you to play all of their games. So I see them doing something like that, which I pay for it on the Xbox. Like if they brought that to the Stadia, I would absolutely pay for that to be on the Stadia. So a lot of people don't have access, like they don't have access to the hardware of PC or Xbox. So to be able to play these games, on your phone, and to pay it a little extra, I think people would absolutely do it. I think it'd be brilliant for them to do something like that. I think if they brought Apex, that would bring a lot of people, because to me, Apex does have that big gathering. So hopefully, I think right now with the way competitive shooters are, battle royales are big. So if they can bring a battle royale onto here, it's going to bring a lot of people.
Do you think, or could you foresee, if, for example, Fortnite came to Stadia, and of course it's they just recently announced that it will be indeed coming to Android. Do you foresee Fortnite taking, or Epic taking, a slight detour with the game and adding in some of the kind of dedicated Stadia features, or do you think that would be a step too far for them?
I don't think it will. Well, I think it would be kind of smart for them to do it. I mean, you have games like Call of Duty that come out on PlayStation and Xbox, but PlayStation gets exclusive things. So I think that's one of the things that I would like to see from Stadia is for them to start bringing exclusive items for games or just exclusive titles, because that's what brings people to different platforms. Is Stadia has this and nobody else does, and it's a little bit of a bragging right. So I would love for them to do something like that.
Amazing. Martin, are you a PvP player? Are you a multiplayer player, or
I'm an RPG player.
are you? So you're playing what bit of?
I like before I played Deus Ex and played all these what do you say Skyrim and all these games. Yeah, those kind of games I like, and I can't wait for 2077.
Cyberpunk, and of course Skyrim is almost certainly coming. Elder Scrolls Online, Baldur's Gate. There's a number of them coming up, aren't there?
Baldur's Gate! I can't wait. I can't wait. That is really exciting. It's a long time since we played Baldur's Gate game.
And I think Duncan, you may know more than I, but are we potentially overdue an announcement on Baldur's Gate?
There was a couple of articles this week about it, or was it this week or last week? My head's like a sieve, and I'm waiting for something here. Old age, yes, old age. I think they're slightly behind. It was the music, so but I still think we're going to get something this year about it.
Sure.
I think so. I'm pretty
Really
sure. I'm pretty sure because we need to have it. Because Chases will be really excited. Do you want to get
Chase
really
will be.
excited?
I actually like Chase, so yes, I have to have let Chase be. Really
he's easy to like. He is easy to like. It's fair.
We don't call him a wee pick, we just call us.
No. Brilliant, thank you, guys. I'm going to move on to the second question. Now, I wanted to revisit something that I posed to Nick earlier about whether Stadia is simply another gaming platform, or whether Google have their eye on a bigger prize. What do you guys think is their kind of mid to long term strategy? And I think I'll start with Nick on this one again.
Well, we've already seen them move forward. We've been hearing rumors of, the Generation 2 hardware already being implemented and being tested with. So to me, that shows that they're already planning, for the next couple of years. I mean, we say hopefully the hardware is a good 2 years before they start refreshing it, at least kind of in the IT field. That's kind of where we're at. So I think them moving forward to that, they're starting to prep for games for next year, for 2021. So I definitely don't see it as a fad. I honestly, I see it as growing and hopefully becoming one of the better competitors in the cloud gaming over the next 5 years. That would be my prediction.
Do you think that they have the other existing platforms in their sights, or do you think they're looking kind of even beyond there and maybe a wider spectrum?
We've also been hearing rumors of the VR stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly, very, very small rumors, but, snippets of there. And that is, to me, looking at the technical side of it, I mean, VR is really just two halves of a signal being sent to you. So it's, if you have a 1080 screen, it's just two halves of 1080 being sent to you, so each eye can see its own thing. So as far as, besides a little bit more technical stuff going up for controller and some head positioning, there's really not much difference in what they're already doing, at least, in the simplicity side of it. So I don't think, here in the next year or so, or two, that, we couldn't see something like that, come about. That I think that's definitely something that Stadia could do if VR does take off.
Oh, definitely. Lee, your thoughts in terms of, we all know where Stadia obviously is right now, and we've all bought into it, and we like what we see. What are your thoughts in terms of the next, say, 2 years to 5 years? That's a long way into the future, but have you given any thought to what Stadia 2026 looks like?
Wow. I think they're going to be very competitive, as in even with Sony. Well, the thing is, Microsoft alluded to the fact that they don't see Sony as one of the main competitors. Phil Spencer sees cloud gaming to be kind of the future. So I'm thinking them and Amazon are going to really go toe to toe. In my opinion, Amazon have already got the ecosystem of Amazon Prime, Amazon Music, Video. So they've obviously got a lot of people under their belt as such at the moment. I think with regards to games, obviously they're going to get a lot more indie games. They're going to get into a lot more territories. I think when 5G starts to roll out and become quite prominent, the fact of the easy use of Stadia and be able to literally play it anywhere. Could you imagine, like, if you're in a train somewhere and you get a 5G signal or a bus, you can play it anywhere. You're not restricted to, I need a Wi-Fi signal. You can literally play Stadia anywhere, and that to me is a massive thing. But I think, yeah, like say, get more titles out, just keep doing what they're doing, sprinkle a bit of indies in, maybe look at the mobile market. The mobile market's worth billions. That's maybe something they should really, I think they're trying to tap into that and get like new users under. I'm pretty confident that Google know what they're doing. They've put billions into this, and new blades are going to come out. Version 2, like Nick was saying, maybe give it a couple of years or so until they start really pushing the hardware again. Yeah, the future's bright, I think, for Google, as long as I think they have to be a bit more transparent, though. Google are the whole, hey, Stadia's out now, hey, Pro's out now, hey, this is out. They have to be a bit more, they have to open and honest with our consumers.
Okay. No, that's good. That's a good shout. Before we move on, and I'm going to come over to you now, Eddie, I just want to apologise because keen-eyed viewers will notice that Eddie and I are the only two that don't have a name badge under our heads. Me, because you don't need to know who I am, but Eddie, because every time I put a name badge down under Eddie's head, the darn machine crashed. And in the end, and I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to risk this live, so please forgive me. It is Eddie. And his Twitter is at Big Eddie Bear. And if you look in the description at the bottom of the video, there are links for all these guys, including to Eddie's channels, Twitch and YouTube. So yeah, I'm 40 lashes are waiting for me as soon as the show finishes.
No worries.
That's just your Saturday night entertainment.
Well, there is that as well. You know, you can't have pain without a little bit of pleasure, can you? Eddie, what are your thoughts on the kind of mid to long term future of Stadia?
I think cloud gaming is going to be the future. Kind of in today's society, everybody loves simplicity. You know, they want to do kind of as little as possible right now. So to be able to, turn on a game from your phone at any time, it's going to draw people in. So I think, as long as they market it correctly and they take advantage of certain points, like right now, come out swinging. So Amazon's going to come in, and Amazon is definitely going to be a threat to them. I think it will be their biggest threat for the time being until Microsoft and Sony kind of get their hands on it. But yeah, like I said, as long as they stay consistent and they continue taking advantage of it, it's going to succeed.
No, I totally agree. Martin, your thoughts?
Well, I think it's going to be really exciting the next couple of years. I think Google has to be really aggressive now and just push before every other competitors coming around, and they're going to come, and they're going to come really fast. And I right now we're not talking much about xCloud, but xCloud has been there for 20 years doing gaming, so I think they can be a really good competitor. Amazon is big, but they're new to cloud gaming too, but they have the money back. So I think that's really interesting. This is gonna be a war, big war. Yeah.
A lot of collateral damage, of course, in any competitive battle. It hopefully is the consumer that benefits. So we should be seeing.
Definitely.
I mean, at the moment, cloud. One of the obviously main advantages of cloud gaming is the fact that it suppresses price anyway.
Yeah.
So as you rightly say, with the competitors that we've got, and most of them are at some level or another involved in cloud gaming. That can only be a good way forward for us. Duncan and Mrs. Duncan, what are your thoughts?
Okay, I will go first again because you've got to.
Well, you like to be serious and I like to be stupid. So like the
I prefer to be stupid. I'll be honest with you, Kelly. This is all too serious for me.
Yes, it is all too serious at times. But I think we just need a bit of crackdown again. Oh, and my Siri decided to go see Siri. Just turn it on.
Never mind, Siri. You're supposed to be answering a question.
Where Stadia is going to go is there's going to be one or two very, very big games, I feel, which are never going to end. I think many of us have talked about the Oasis. That is where we're going to go. It's going to be one massive game because you don't have to worry about downloads. You can fly about here, there, and everywhere. I think that is coming. And we've already seen that with Facebook with their Oculus. And we stuck up an article this week by Ash, which is an amazing article about the VR. VR is, I think, will be coming to Stadia at some stage. And we've already seen that with Shadow. Shadow have already started their VR push. So Shadow's, for people that are not aware, is another cloud computing company. And you can hook up your Oculus Quest to it and away you go. So would you like to get... Oh, sorry, Rokk.
No, I want to hear what Kelly has to say. Absolutely, and be as silly and unserious as you want, Kelly.
Don't just be loaded.
as long as you can play and curse at your husband, I'm guessing that you'll be happy either way.
Yep. Definitely.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. I've got one more question, which we can take as long as you like. We've got a few minutes, and then we'll maybe have a quick handover to the chat as well, because I appreciate I've been very remiss, chat, and that's because normally I put chat in the separate screen, and then I can go yeah. But the way I've set this up at the moment, if I was to put you over there, it would cover up one of their faces. So I've been a bad host, and I apologise, and I'll add a further 40 lashes to the ones that I've already decided to take. So the final question from this round, anyway, is I think it's fair to say that all leading tech companies get to a certain size where they flip from being kind of hero to not zero, but not so hero, depending on who you talk to. So Google were once, seen as the antidote to Microsoft as was then. I actually think they've done amazing stuff of late. And therefore Google arguably crossed that line. How much do you, panel, feel this will or won't affect the public perception towards Google Stadia? And if I start with you first, Eddie, because what I'm keen, knowing that you largely, a lot of what you do is with games that aren't on Stadia. So predominantly they're probably PC based. So you're talking and mixing with people that probably have a different impression of Stadia than we all do, because we've all drunk the Kool-Aid and we live under the rainbow. So what your thoughts in terms of the public perception of Stadia, and whether you think that has anything to do with Google's scale?
I mean, realistically, you're gonna have, like, no matter what, you're gonna have people who choose Google, people who choose Microsoft. You're gonna have those people that stick with it no matter what. I think right now, a lot of people don't know what Google Stadia is. They don't know the performance that it can do. And eventually they will know, and they'll understand why there's beginning to be a large following for it. So, I mean, to me, I don't think there's really any harm in what Google's doing. They saw an opportunity and they took advantage of it. This is the direction that we're headed in right now. So, I'm hoping that Microsoft can kind of see that and kind of get on board with it. At the end of the day, you got Amazon, which apparently, from what I was reading, I believe they're going to be coming out with their stuff within a month. So, any help that Google can get, I think they're going to need. But yeah, I mean, just in a public perspective, it's just one of those things that you got to give it time, and people will eventually learn what Stadia is all about. And as us streamers who are streaming kind of both in it, we just got to be really positive and kind of show the benefits of each. So just got to guide them in the right direction.
Martin, you were mentioning earlier that you're a big RPG player. That's your kind of passion. And obviously at the moment we don't have Skyrim and some of those other games that you mentioned on the platform. So presumably you're playing on PlayStation, Xbox as well as, or?
Yeah, I play a little bit PC. Right now I'm just playing actually not RPG, I'm playing an online game, the Elder Scrolls Online. I really find that really fun to play.
Excellent.
And I can't wait to get it on Google Stadia. So that will be really great.
And when you're playing with friends and other gamers on the PC, do you have conversations about Stadia? Do you get a feel for what their thoughts are?
Right now they only playing the Elder Scrolls Online, and they are PC gamers, most of them right now. But I think when it's been around a little bit and they can see the benefits of the cloud, they can play wherever they want this game. I think that's gonna be great. But right now, I'm not sure.
Okay.
About that.
And do you how long do you think it's going to take in terms of that sort of charm offensive to get the turn around the PC crew?
I think they need to push the commercial around it and talk about it more, and we have to talk about it and just be in the community talking about Stadia. I think that's the right way to go. I don't know, maybe a half year to a year, people would see
That's
if it's you can play for free, that's why not?
Free is a compelling word.
Yeah.
It just happens to be my favorite word.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's free. That's perfect.
Can't be wrong, can it? Nick, what are your thoughts? Do you think that Google, in a way, are an impediment to the success of Stadia?
I don't think so. I think Google actually has a lot of, for where they want Stadia to go, I think they've got a lot of background for it. They've got the AI that's going to be behind it. They've got a lot of these interactive features, one that's going to work with YouTube, a lot of the crowd stuff, that all of that brings together a lot of other features that Google has been working on over the years, and they're implementing that into Stadia, which is what a lot of us want. And they have that backing that I don't think Microsoft might have some of it. They've got more of the game side of it. I think Stadia's got a lot of more of, in the long term, I think is going to have the stronger feature set. I don't know. We don't really know what Amazon's going to be bringing to the table. I don't know how much AI stuff they have coming from their, their home automation stuff and whatever that they've got. I don't know how much they're going to be implementing from there. So it kind of depends on where you want. Do you want the games? Do you want the feature set? And we kind of don't really know where Amazon's coming from yet. It kind of seems more multiplayer type thing. So yeah, they definitely have a good backing, and as long as I think they keep it going, at the pace they want, they seem to kind of do it how they want and when they want, and as things get done. But yeah, I think that's going to be their biggest backing on, and then as well as price wise, because Google's not necessarily in it for the money per se. They're in it for the data. They're in it for the
That's
advertising.
a
They're in
very
it
good
for
point.
so that's their basis, and then they're just giving us these ways of getting to that advertising. They give us the search engines, Gmail, all that stuff, and I think Stadia is another way of them getting us to go to them for advertising.
That's a really good point, Nick, and Lee, picking up on that point, because I guess a question is, if you are a seasoned gamer and you've been playing, as I know you are, and you've been playing games for a long time, would the fact that prices are low, and even the price of games potentially will be a lot lower than they are now, does that, knowing that the ultimate goal of Google is almost certainly in data collection, which they then obviously provide on to their advertisers, would that put you off versus the fact that you're paying $60 and the money's the money, and you don't need to worry too much about what they do with the knowledge that they get from you?
I don't think so, mate. Because you got to think a lot of people obviously have like Google devices, whether that's you're talking like Google search engine or Hey Google, Hey Alexa, all that stuff. So a lot of people, whether they know it or inadvertently know it, they are in Google's system as such. I think if you're paying less and you've got some advertising, people pay with their wallets, Adam. And I think if the games are going to be cheaper, people grin and bear it, and I don't think they'll mind about the data. I mean, everything's data nowadays. I mean, every time like you sign up for something, you've got this massive disclaimer. You're not going to read all that. Hit the accept button and away you go. So I don't think it's going to be detrimental to them at all. If the prices are competitive, I don't think people are going to really be that mindful about what Google do with their data.
It's a good point. And Duncan, I suppose there is an argument that says you may play Fortnite for free, but Fortnite's one of the wealthiest gaming companies in the world, so clearly someone's giving them some money somewhere. So free doesn't always necessarily mean that they're not going to raid your wallet, does it?
Definitely not. Ask Kelly about that.
Oh, I hate Fortnite. I really hate Fortnite. Especially when you have kids going, please can I have V-Bucks? It's so annoying.
They are making an absolute killing with Google. Google have, it's Google's turn at this moment in time for being evil. Everybody, all the big tech
Did they learn
companies.
from you? Did they learn from you to be evil?
Yes, they did. The evil one. But yeah, it's Google's turn to be evil at this moment in time. What was Microsoft? Amazon's going to be hit at some stage as well. Apple had a spell as well as being the evil company. But with Google, they've launched this when their evilness is at its peak, and when Amazon are launching here, they've got all the goodwill because of Prime and stuff. And Kelly's just sitting here nodding her head at me. But Amazon's still got all the goodwill, so when they launch it, it's going to be fine. Would you actually have some of the details of Amazon's cloud service? It is coming this summer, or the start of it, when you're integrating with Prime, and it will be like smaller games. So I'm thinking games like Get Pack, what we're going to be getting on Tuesday, as everybody seems to already.
I don't think they're getting that. They're just keeping it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's Amazon are going to be the ones to watch, but the tide is turning against them as well because of the working issues. So you never know. It's all fun.
Martin, we know that Google have just this week announced they're slashing their marketing budgets by 50% across the board. And I joked earlier that half of nothing's not a lot as far as Stadia is concerned. But do you think that is likely to have an impact on their future plans?
No, I don't think so. I think they know what they're doing, and I think they need to cut some places. But on the gaming side, if they're gonna invest so much money into this all this cloud service, I don't think that's something we have to be worrying about.
No. Good. Team, I'm gonna wind it up now because we're fast approaching the top of the hour. We've got a couple of minutes left, so I just wanted to personally thank you once again for taking the time today to come on to Rokk Around the Clock. I just want to reiterate really to everybody in the chat, these guys, as I hope they've demonstrated to you today are absolutely worthy of your attention, and you'll find the links, as I've mentioned earlier, in the description below. Please do pop along and support them. They're all just starting out in the community, and they really could do with your support. And I think that we absolutely are looking at stars of Stadia to come. So big round of metaphorical applause. Thank you very much. Before we go, I just need to also point out that Cloud Gaming Extreme follow on from my show at 9 o'clock UK time. There's a link down in the description to go over there, so that will be really good. I think they're doing some NBA 2K and they're looking for people to play with them, so that sounds good to me. I hope you're all having an absolutely amazing Stadia Super Saturday. It is an awesome community. It's that, I think, is our word that the community deserves to have. And if I was Google, I'd be incredibly proud to have everybody that plays Stadia that I know in this community as customers and clients. So thank you very much for watching the show. I will be back on Monday, probably. I will definitely be back on Tuesday with Clive Illenden in Generation X, the show with two old gits talking about games. But that's not so much me, but I have to be, friendly. And I'll pass you over now to Cloud Gaming Extreme. Have a fantastic weekend and speak to you all soon. Say bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Stadia.